Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. So, it's an honor to have on the channel today a good friend of mine, Survival Lilly, and we're going to ask her some questions about survivalism and preparedness. So let's get to it. So if you're not aware yet, Survival Lilly is probably one of the biggest, not only female, but the biggest preparedness and survival channels on YouTube, next to Primitive Technology, I would say. So I want to commend her on her success in that regard. And it's amazing, you know, when I started this channel 3 years ago, never thought I would be interviewing people of this caliber. But that's one of the great things about this platform right here. So without further ado, let's ask Lilly some questions about what she thinks about the wonderful world, survival, and prepping. While we do that, I'm going to bust up some fat wood, chop up some kindling, make a little fire, make a little tea. So my first question to Lilly is, what is it that got you into survival and preparedness?
I'm not really sure what triggered my interest in survivalism. I can remember that when I was young, you know, I was after school, some school kids and I, we were always in the woods playing and building shelters. And I grew up around here. There's a village near this forest, and we played a lot in the woods. And also my mom took me into the woods searching for mushrooms and blueberries. And when I got older, I got my hands on a few survival books, and I really loved them. I read them 1,000 times. And my dad also took me hunting when I was getting older. So maybe it was the combination of all of these experiences that got me so interested in survival.
Now, if in your mind, what is the most likely global SHTF scenario to occur?
I believe that the most likely SHTF situation right now is a war. In the last years, we have seen that there are more and more conflicts, and now we have better weapon systems. Now we are going to develop artificial intelligence and lethal weapons which get controlled by artificial intelligence. And yeah, this is all very dangerous. So I believe that if there's something to happen, it's going to be a war. Pandemic is also a possibility. I don't really believe that it would be viral, but I believe that maybe bacteria will take out a lot of people, because a lot of bacteria, they don't react to antibiotics anymore. And that's a second possibility, but first I think it's going to be war.
What is one of the biggest challenges of being a female prepper on YouTube?
Yeah, it's quite a challenge when you have a survival channel on YouTube as a female. A lot of guys don't really like it. Sometimes I get comments like, yeah, you haven't built this bug out camp yourself, your boyfriend built it, or who is the man standing behind your camera who has built your shelters or anything. So some people, they couldn't believe that a woman can do this physical work. And I have to say that most of my subscribers are really okay, really nice people. In the comment section, most of them are normal, but some of them are true sexists, and that's something that you have to deal with when you're a female YouTuber in the survival niche. The benefits of being a female YouTuber is definitely that I don't have so many competitors. Like, for example, if you're a male survivalist on YouTube, you have quite a range of male competitors, but I don't have a lot of competition, and that's my unique selling proposition, and that's one reason why I have so many subscribers.
What will the role of men and women be in a grid down survival situation?
I believe that men and women are going to contribute to the off-grid situation with the same amount of energy. Women can do a lot of physical work. I have built my bug out camp alone. I've chopped, I don't know how much firewood, and women in general can be very strong. I know a lady from our village, She's over 80 now, and all of her life she has done the hardest physical work. Chopping firewood and collecting apples from the ground, and yeah, it's really, there are some women, they can do a lot of work.
What has YouTube taught you about the nature of people? Is there anything that you've learned in your experiences on YouTube that you would take into a survival situation in terms of interacting with other people?
Yeah, I have a lot of life experience now. I have met people who are completely okay and awesome, and I've met people who are not so awesome. So I've met assholes and toxic people, you know. On YouTube it's the same. So in my comment section, most of the commenters are just normal, but some of them, you know, they are really sick and I don't know, yeah. So some people have real issues, and if you want to have a good survival tip for your life, I can tell you that you need to get rid of these people. So in my personal life, I have kicked out all of the assholes, all of the douchebags, and all of the people who were jealous about me, you know. So that's very important. You only want to have friends who are helpful for you, who appreciate you, and which give you something back, you know. So I'm a person, I like to help, and I like to help everywhere where I can. And some people take the help, but they don't give it back. So you really have to choose wisely who your friends are.
What role, if any, does ethics and spirituality have in survival and preparedness?
I don't believe in God, I'm atheist, but a lot of people do. And I believe that when you are in a survival situation or when you prepare for a Shtf situation, it can be helpful to believe in God, because it doesn't matter if God really exists or if he not exists. It only matters that you believe he exists, and that fact only will help you out in a survival situation, in an extreme situation where you feel lost and vulnerable. And for example, let's say if someone prays to God, he will feel a little bit of salvation, you know. So he will feel that someone protects him, and that will definitely contribute to survival. That's one of the positive psychological aspects of believing in God, or I don't know, in Mother Nature or other spiritual directions, you know.
What do you think the world is going to look like in the year 2050? What do you think are going to be some of the greatest challenges to humanity?
My greatest concern is actually that we are too many people on this planet. Some experts say that we can only have 4 billion people on the planet with being sustainable with the resources. But now we are almost double than that, and the population is soaring up. So where is this going? We don't have infinite resources, we don't have infinite forests and agricultural areas to nourish the world's population, and this is going to be a problem. And all of the politicians, they say, yeah, we need more people, more, make more children, yeah. But I mean, it's common sense that we can only have a certain amount of people on the planet. So where is this leading? Maybe it leads to world war because we are fighting over resources. And the solution is really to get no more than 2 kids, actually. Yeah, it's not good if you have too many people on the planet. Next question.
How have YouTube's recent demonetization policies affected your channel?
Yeah, unfortunately the Apocalypse has hit my channel too. Unfortunately, a lot of my videos got restricted for under 18-year-olds, and then you get less revenue. So I have an income loss now of 30% or something. It's really hard business now, and yeah, they have restricted a couple of my videos where I show knives, which I find completely ridiculous, okay? They have restricted a video where I opened a coconut with a knife. And every time I do a knife review, they restrict it. When I bring out my own knife, they will restrict it, so it's not good. I've stopped showing blood work on my videos because when I show that, I will get completely demonetized. And basically, yeah, you have to do what they say, otherwise you can not make a living anymore from YouTube.
If you had to choose just 3 YouTubers to be on your post-apocalyptic survival team, who would they be?
I believe I would choose Sean from My Self-Reliance. He's a very honest guy, and he's a good guy. He has a good heart and he has a lot of skills. I would definitely choose him. Then I would choose Cedric from Stay Primitive, my friend. Pretty hardcore guy. Very good primitive survivalist. And the third one that I would choose is, yeah, I would choose 2 more actually. I would choose Joe Robinette and Dark Outside. So they are both pretty cool, awesome, entertaining, and they have great channels. Check them out.
What is one of the biggest misconceptions of YouTube survivalists?
Some people think that I actually live in my bug out camp, which I find pretty funny. Then they ask if I'm homeless, and some ask how I upload videos in the woods. So I find that pretty funny. Maybe these questions come from children, because I don't have another explanation. But no, I actually live in a house, and this here is my working place. The bug out spot is my working place, and that's where I make most of my videos.
Next question isn't really pertaining to survival or preparedness, but what are 3 things that the YouTube community doesn't know about you?
Okay, the first thing that you didn't know about me is I was dyeing my hair the first time when I was 17. I dyed it blonde, and I have to say that I deeply regret it. I wouldn't do it again. Don't do it, girls. It's just chemistry on your head and it's not good for your health, so I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't recommend it anymore, and my natural hair color is much more beautiful anyway. When I was starting with bushcraft and survival, I hurt myself a couple of times, like I was cutting myself with knives and saws, and 2 times I needed to go to the hospital to get me sewn up again. So please be careful with sharp tools and don't rush yourself, okay? I only hurt myself when I was very stressed out. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, when it comes to gear, I have spent a lot of money on trashy gear, and I wouldn't do that again because now I have the experience. And before you buy any type of gear, it's better to first inquire a lot, you know, to watch reviews on YouTube, and yeah, ask yourself if you really need this kind of gear and if there's no better product out there. So that's one way how you can save money. The next thing that you don't know about me is that I have eaten junk food quite a lot when I was younger, and that was not so healthy either. And now I completely changed my diet. Now I'm just buying the best meat, which is GMO-free and organic. Same with the vegetables. I don't want to eat food anymore where there are pesticides on it. I spent a lot of money on the best foods that I can get. I just want to stay healthy, and yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Also, I'm eating a lot of sauerkraut because it has a lot of good microorganisms, bacteria that helps you with your gut. So I have become very healthy now, which is great. The third thing about me, I have a new favorite computer game, which is Farpoint. You can play it with the virtual reality goggles on PlayStation 4, and it's so awesome. It's completely addicting. The great thing about this game is actually that you can train your stress levels. You can learn to manage your stress. For example, if you completely freak out in a survival situation, you can do something against it by just training it. And that's something you can do with computer games. And with computer games, you can train your stress level. So the first few times when I was playing the game, I was completely freaking out and my heart was pounding. But now I'm pretty cool, and that's how you can train yourself in coping, you know, difficult situations.
Now, don't you think you just a little too female to be running around the woods like that? What would your husband say if he knew you were out of the kitchen? Ain't you worried you're gonna break a fingernail or something? And don't worry, if you need my help, there's plenty of room in my bunker for the both of us. Now, in spite of your total disregard for the way the Bible says things ought to be, I'm gonna make you a generous proposition. I'm willing to take you in as one of my concubines, so long as you done keep the bunker clean, you make me lots of babies. Hell, you might even earn the right to go on to town once or twice a week.
Yeah, American Prepper, why don't you shut up and make me a sandwich? I'm tired from chopping 1,000 kilograms of wood, and I have a sore back from ripping out some apple trees in my garden, so I'm really hungry. Where's my sandwich?
All right, so I want to thank my guest, Survival Lilly, for coming on the channel and answering these questions today. It's great to hear different perspectives on these sort of things. And I would encourage you, if you're not a subscriber already, which I highly doubt, go and subscribe to her channel. Probably one of the best survival channels on YouTube. She touches on every aspect of, you know, survival, hunting, fishing, all the stuff that not a lot of people like to hit on in this genre, to be honest. So go and check out her channel. Thanks for watching. Canadian Prepper out.